A friend to all is a friend to none, and if you're in college or your early 20s, this is the law of friendship that's going to protect you from like 90 to 100% of platonic heartbreak, and if you're anything like me, you know that all too well. Seriously, guys, if I just listened to that one rule that's been a thing for literally thousands of years, I would have avoided so much heartbreak. And it's not even because of a man. It's because of like my fellow women. Like, it's because of friends. It's because of people that I wanted to be like sisters with. Navigating your early 20s is already hard enough, but when it feels like you can't make any genuine friendships or connections with other people, it's so much harder. And it just doesn't have to be that way. I should have just known better, and because of this video, now you can know better because I learned it the hard way, and I'd like to give you a huge deep dive into everything you need to know about why this matters, how it applies to your life, how to live by it, and how to watch out for people who aren't living by it, how to figure out your own friendship dynamics, and if you're doing anything that's going to make this a bit harder for you. We are going to cover everything in this video. I mean, genuinely, by the end of this video, you are never going to make this mistake ever again. It is my personal and slightly expert opinion, if you had to ask me, that the reason why so many of us can't find real friends is because everybody's fake. Everybody's fake. I don't know what it is about the world or the water or the social media that's giving us all brain rot, but literally every single person that I have had a falling out with has been fake to some level. It's never two genuine people where someone just makes a mistake. It's always the other person is fake. And I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand how this is such a plague that is literally affecting so many young women. But I go online and I see horror stories that are just like mine, just like my experiences stemming all the way back to high school. Because that's what this is. This is high school behavior that we need to know how to interact with. And the biggest thing that I wish I just took to heart sooner was that a friend to all is a friend to none. The genius that made that up is Aristotle. I didn't know that, actually. I was doing research for this video and I was like, where did this like saying even originate? Where did it come from? It came from Aristotle, actually, which I think is really cool. Personally, I was shocked to figure out that it was like literally that old. Like, I knew this saying was old, but I didn't know it was that old, because honestly, while it did originate in ancient Greek times, I just knew it because of a Taylor Swift song. Taylor Swift's song Cardigan from 2020 quotes this directly. I thought she made it up. Now, either that's a testament to how smart I think Taylor Swift is, or how dumb I am to believe that something that's been around for literally the entirety of time, basically, was from Taylor Swift. It's okay. It's okay, we all make mistakes. Honestly, I do think it's relieving to know that this law stood the test of time, because what you need to know about this is that it was made so freaking long ago, but it has survived this long for a reason. I didn't realize that this was something that was true for so many different people over hundreds and thousands of years, but honestly, if I just paid attention to it, I might have avoided so many different things. Like, we're gonna cover some of them later, don't worry, like, I will give you the tea, but truly, you just need to know that Aristotle came up with it, and it's been around forever. Which to me, that adds to its truth, that adds to its validity, that adds to its wisdom. Like, I just feel like if something's been around that long, we should probably hear it out a little bit more than just thinking like, oh my gosh, wait, no, I know better. Like, newsflash, I don't know better. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you probably don't know better either, but self-awareness is so fun, isn't it? We are so mature for being self-aware. We are on the right track. But to zoom out a little bit, thinking about this being true in Aristotle's time and still being true today is kind of brilliant. I mean, it does really reflect a lot of the big issues that people have with one another and the big issues in navigating friendships, especially if you're young and it's tempting to kind of play it the dirty way and kind of just do whatever you want in order to survive in a social setting. I feel like this isn't something that is advantageous in the long term, but it is really tempting. We're going to go over all the reasons why someone might act this way, because honestly, it's way easier than taking a stance and doing the right thing. The main takeaway of a friend to all is a friend to none basically says that if you have a high quantity of friends, the quality of those friends is probably very low. And this is real in a logical and practical sense. If you have a ton of friends and you have a finite amount of attention, meaning you don't have this like infinite pool of attention and time to invest in anything or anyone, you're going to have to pick and choose who or how many people you invest in. So it makes perfect sense. Like, humans can't do everything. everything. Unfortunately, we can't. We only have 24 hours in a day. We only have so many hours in a week to invest into our friendships and our platonic relationships, and it can be really hard to always feel like you're deepening connections with people, and that's fine. I mean, that's just the name of the game. When you're making friends, it's really hard to like find new connections and then foster them to the point where they become long-lasting, challenge-evading relationships that stand the test of time. It is incredibly hard to actually get a best friend status out of a new connection, and that's something that all of us can relate to. But what a lot of us feel like is a bit unfair is when individuals do this on purpose, or they knowingly go down this path of having the max amount of friends with the lowest quality possible, because just logically speaking, those connections cannot all be good connections. And it's even harder when you have an insane amount of friends, like you're friends with literally everybody that you meet, because it's incredibly hard to like find loyalty in that. It's hard to find quality in that. It's definitely hard to find privacy in that. We're going to get into all of this again in a later segment of the video, but it just logically flows. And practically, like, I always think about it this way. I went to New York City in March of this year, and it was amazing, and I had pizza that actually changed my life in New York City. I never understood why people were obsessed with like a New York slice, okay, until I had one. And ever since then, I think about this pizza multiple times a week. I daydream about this pizza. Just dream about this pizza. Like, I love this slice of pizza, and if you asked me, would I rather have 500 pizza rolls, okay, those little Tostinos little pillow things, would I rather have 500 of those, okay, more than enough to get me full and satiated for a meal, and then some, or one slice of that pizza? I'm picking that pizza. Mind you, I ate 4 slices of that pizza when I first had it, and I could have still had 5, but we had to go, we had plans. I think about this pizza literally all the time. And the thing is I do this in every single area of my life. Would I rather have 500, sorry, she's cute, say hi to Millie. This is what happens when I move back home from college and I get to be in my bedroom and have like my loved ones around. This is Millie. But I seriously do this in every single area of my life. I'd rather have one good teletie that's not going to break on me than 500 of those horrible little rubber rope things that you're supposed to wrap your hair up in a ponytail. I mean, they're awful. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I would always rather have the best thing in a low quantity than the worst thing in a crap load of quantity, because honestly, what am I going to do with that? What is special if I have everything? What is special if I have all of the options? Like, if I go to Baskin-Robbins, I'd rather have like 2 or 3 scoops of my favorite ice cream, put whatever toppings I want on it, call it a day, than just walk around having 31 flavors on those tiny little flavoring tasting spoons. Like, I don't want 31 samples. I don't want 31 flavors. I want my favorite ice cream flavor. I don't want 500 pizza rolls. I want the best New York slice I've ever had. And when it comes to friends, I don't want 200 acquaintances that I couldn't give a crap about. I want a best friend to stand next to me at my wedding, stand next to me when I'm going through something, and help me grow as a human being. I don't want this abundance of just garbage quality stuff, and I don't think that you do either. Practically, it doesn't make sense between people, and logically, it doesn't make sense between anything. When you understand how serious and how practical and how much sense is made out of this thing that Aristotle just said like thousands of years ago, that a friend to all is truly a friend to none, it is so much easier to see how this fits into your life. Because so many people my age and even older are going through this awful challenge of both people not being as mature as they are and people not having these standards of friendship as they do. It is incredibly painful to feel the friction of trying to have a friend who has absolutely no moral grounds for what they'll do with or around you. If they don't care that they're not going to be loyal to you, why would you want to be their friend anyway? Basically, long story short, we only have so many hours in a day, we only have so much energy to give, and we have to start thinking of our friendships as a place where we have to strategically move and invest in specific people at a time. Once you understand how severe this law really is to friendship and how detrimental it can be to just ignore it or to let people around you break this law in front of you, you have to understand how to navigate this. The way that this applies to your life, especially if you're in the early adulthood stage, is that it can be incredibly tempting to have like the biggest network possible and have the most connections possible and have the most friends possible. And while this on the surface is ideally a good goal, which I feel like is something I say in every single video on this channel, something could be good on the surface, but if you critically think and you dig a little bit deeper, you're going to realize the dark side and how the grass is not greener on the other side of this, because while it is so tempting to have like 400 million LinkedIn connections by the time you're 22, it's not practical when it comes to your social and platonic relationships. Two things can be true at once. Your undergrad and then post-grad life can warrant the desire to have so many business connections or have the most vast career network possible, and that's totally fine. That is a goal that I personally keep for myself and that I think every single young person who is pursuing an education or pursuing a career should do. Always try and maximize who you know. It really is about who you know, especially in college, and that's totally fine. But I don't like how this attitude is seeping its way into how people navigate their personal friendships and platonic relationships. This doesn't make any sense to me. It makes sense at work that you'd want to be on good terms with everybody, but why do you have to be good terms with everybody at a party that you're going to on a random Saturday night? It's not the same thing at all. There has to be this distinction between acquaintance/coworker and person who's going to be your maid of honor someday. I guess it's just not clocking to me how people aren't getting this, but this is so important for you to understand. I wish I understood this sooner because I could have avoided so many things I just did not need to go through, so please heed this warning. I will proceed. I think the reason that this is so challenging on a social level for college students is that while, yeah, the career thing is super important and that's super tempting to do for your career, and honestly it's probably a really good goal for literally every single college student to have, or every single person that's navigating their early adulthood phase to have, which is fine. It also sucks because on a social level people don't seem to get this. I mean, I see so many people on Instagram every other weekend posting literally huge friend groups, these gigantic friend groups where there's like 40 people in them all the time, and it's really tempting in bigger colleges, which I personally don't go to a big college, but I see this up close and personal with my friends and my boyfriend who do go to a big college. It is the norm, especially in Greek life or in clubs or in other athletics, to just have so many people around you all the time and to have the hugest friend group possible, and it almost wins you just like more street cred or like brownie points, I guess. It makes these people feel safe in the numbers. It makes these people feel happy about their life because they just have so many people in their Instagram tagged list. But I just feel like this is just not satisfactory. I mean, it's not possible for you to have a best friend level relationship with 40 different people at the same time in your life. That is not possible. You can feel an affinity towards a team or a group that you're in. You can feel a special kind of admiration for people in a friend group with you, but it is not possible for you to have 40 best friends at once. It's best friend. 1, maybe 2, probably no more than 3 realistically, and I know that I'm getting too into the numbers here, but I do just want to paint a picture. These friend groups that you're seeing on your Instagram probably don't even like each other. I really want to make a video about how friend groups are actually so oppressive to so many different people and so bad for you, and if you're interested in that, please comment down below that that's something you'd want to see. But I genuinely just don't believe that the people who think that being a friend to all is a good strategy for navigating their social lives actually like the people that they're around, or are actually liked by the people they spend time with. That sounds harsh, but everyone that I hang out with loves me. Maybe I only hang out with 3 people a semester, but I see them all the time and they always love me. And the kicker is, I love them so much. I love every single person that I make an effort to keep close to me. I would do anything for my friends, and it's because I select them so strategically and intentionally that I know for a fact I can lean on them, and I want them to feel like they can lean on me too. I've never understood this quantitative appeal, but it feels like it's really affecting a lot of people in college. And if it affects you, you're probably really normal for that. I feel like so many of us have this temptation to like want to be in this huge friend group, but I guess I'm just blessed because it took me a very short amount of time to realize that I actually don't want that at all in reality. So I don't know, maybe it's taking you a little bit longer to realize that having like an insane amount of friends is actually often counterproductive for everybody involved, but you really don't need that many friends. A friend to all is a friend to none. Truly exemplifies exactly the issue with these massive friend groups or these people that have a crap ton of friends. Like everywhere they go, people are just like waving at them, and it's not because they're specifically well liked, it's because they're like actively pursuing surface level friendships with all of these people. This isn't directly tied to popularity, but you can see it in a person's attitude. And like once you know how to notice this, and once you realize that like the people that are doing this are likely no more happier than you and no more satisfied than you in their friendships and personal lives, it's really great to just move on and figure out how to look for people in your circle that are doing this to you. Especially when you're like me and you're someone that hasn't wanted this gigantic friend group for a while now, you can get used to having specific people at a time. And I've made the mistake as recent as in the last 2 years where I made a best friend out of someone who is a friend to all, and I didn't realize that she was also a friend to none because I didn't pay close enough attention to how she was acting in her life. I didn't pay attention to the signs, and trust me, they were there. Like, in retrospect, I should have known. It's crazy that I didn't know. It'll never happen to me again because looking back at it, it was so obvious and easy to see, and I'm gonna tell you literally everything that you need to look out for when it comes to if someone might actually be doing this to you. The reason why it's so easy to tell is because the quality of friendship with someone who is a friend to all is garbage. And yes, I do mean garbage. They won't be able to connect with you very deeply because you're just a number to them. They won't be able to really prioritize you at all because they're not prioritizing anybody but themselves. They won't ever authentically relate to you because they just claim to relate to whoever they're spending time with in a given moment, and they probably don't even understand how to relate to themselves on a personal level. They won't really ever be able to bond with you because they shift their image to whoever they're around. They're like chameleons. They blend into wherever they are, whoever their surroundings are, and at the end of the day, they don't actually have a personality or character that really belongs to them. If you think of someone when I'm talking about this and you're wondering if one of the people in your close circle actually might be a friend to all in this harmful way, you need to ask yourself a series of questions to find out if they actually are or not. Do they ever gossip about you? How often? How many people are they gossiping about you with? When you're hanging out, do they actually listen to anything that you say? If you guys hang out multiple times, do they ever remember anything you've told them previously, or do they seem to have like amnesia with every single personal detail that you offer them? Do they ever share any kind of meaningful or important information about anything that they're going through? Are they ever able to show that they've thought of you when they're not immediately around you and when they don't need anything? When you're sharing your issues with them, do they offer you insightful and thoughtful advice, or do they give you some kind of one-liner that doesn't really do anything for you? And the last question should have allowed me to just figure everything out immediately, but do they pursue you, like, on a friendship level at all? Do they ever invite you to hang out? Do they ever text you first? Do they ever randomly call you to check up on you and see how you're doing? That one should have just cleared up all of the fog that I had in this one friendship for me, but I was so blind and unwilling to admit what was going on to myself. I just ignored all of these signs. I beg of you, please do not ignore these signs. You deserve better friendship. You deserve a higher quality of friend. You have the standards. You have the willingness to treat other people in the way that you want to be treated. You don't need to settle anymore. Like, if this is the video that you needed to just be set free from this, consider yourself free. This freedom of saying, I deserve better friendship, is so challenging to get to, but once you're there, it is the most relieving and peace-giving decision you will ever make as a young adult. It is a pivotal decision that you have to make for yourself. You deserve better, and it's okay to pick yourself up off the floor next to the dead standards that you used to have that were murdered and killed by someone who is a friend to all, someone who is fake, a chameleon of a friend. Pick yourself up, take your standards with you, give them CPR, and go find someone better to be friends with. This brings me to my next point. I think something that makes it so hard to navigate this and so easy for people to fall into in the first place is by having no self-awareness in how you show up in friendships. This is something that I'm working on every single day, but ever since I realized how many times I was actually enabling someone in my life to be fake to me and be a friend to all, including me, I've never made this mistake again, and I don't think I ever will. Obviously, I still have room to grow in other areas of friendship, and I hope that I always will. I always want to be a better friend and a better person to show up in a friendship, which is also a distinct thing. But I'm never going to make this mistake again because it's actually really easy. The first half of this issue is choosing someone like this to be friends with in the first place, but the second half is analyzing how you show up in your friendships and what could you possibly be doing to allow this to happen in your life. I have another list of questions of things that I need you to ask yourself to figure out how you can prevent this from happening to yourself in the future. First of all, ask yourself how you show up in friendships. So what do you like to do for your friends? What are the ways that you like to show to your friends that you care about them? Is it gift giving? Is it listening to them? Is it calling them once a week to check up on them? What are the very specific things that you love to do for your friends? And then ask yourself, Are any of these things that I'd like in return? For me, I really love giving gifts. I love calling people and talking for as long as they want to. I love listening to somebody's problems and giving them actual real advice. And I realized these things are all things that make me feel very special and very cared for when I get the opportunity to receive this level of treatment. My closest friendships are the ones that are with individuals who act in friendships in similar ways as me. I've had a best friend for several years now, and she shows up very differently in friendships to me. And we've still managed to have a really close relationship, but I still might never feel fully in relation to her because she just doesn't care to go a few months without talking to me. Basically, I had to be the one to ask myself if I was okay compromising to meet her standard of friendship rather than her compromising to meet mine. And that's kind of just been how it is the whole time we've been friends. I feel like in the most recent years, like, I absolutely adore this human being and I would die for her in a split second, but because we have different languages of friendship love, it's kind of hard for me to always feel that connected to her. And on the other hand, I met someone in January of 2025, right? So like, if you're watching this as I posted it like this year, less than a year ago, and she shows up in friendships almost identically to the way that I do, and it is a breath of fresh air. It's genuinely so easy with her because she cares about the same things as me, she shows up in the same ways as I do, and she appreciates what I do because, again, she's similar to me. She wants those things. So when I offer her the kinds of sacrificial love that you would to a friend, that you would in a platonic relationship, she is grateful for it in the same way that I am because we're just so in tune. We're locked in this way of showing each other that we care about one another. And it's so much easier because I realized eventually, after making so many mistakes in choosing friends, I had to start asking myself, are the ways that I want to show up in a friendship just bigger indicators of my own personal standards? Spoiler alert, the answer was yes. Another thing that you need to ask yourself is, are you engaging in your friendships in any way that's harmful to you? In other words, are you compromising on any of your standards that should be non-negotiables? Are you enabling behavior that you would never dream of inflicting on somebody else? Are you making excuses for harmful people to continue to do harmful things to you, like gossip about you, disrespect you, never show loyalty to you? I mean, it is that deep. It feels silly talking about all of these characteristic things of like, oh, you must find loyalty. Like, that feels medieval, but it's true. Why would you want a disloyal friend? It's almost 2026. You deserve better, and it's been a really long time. And the last thing that is really what did it for me is I asked myself, would I ever feel comfortable treating someone the way that I'm being treated? Or in other words, could I imagine to ever hurt someone in the way that these people are comfortable hurting me? The answer was no. The answer was no. I obviously, like, I'm a human being, so I know for a fact I make mistakes in my friendships, and I'm sure that I've made so many mistakes that my loving, patient, kind, adoring friends haven't called me out for. So I'm sure that there's tons of problems that I do all the time that I'm not aware of, okay? And that's fine. But these specific issues that you might be going through, that might be being inflicted on you, would you ever do them to somebody else? No, you wouldn't. It is okay to admit that the kinds of mistakes people are making for you, or the kinds of intentional trespasses people are doing to you in your friendships, are things that you would never do to anybody else, and that's fine. It is okay to admit the boundary there. You can act on that. There should be a limit to the amount of forgiveness and forgetting that you are going to offer your friends. Forgiveness is something that is beautiful in abundance, and it really can change relationships for the better. It can change lives for the better. It's a beautiful thing. But forgetting it and giving people a clean slate is a very different thing. And I didn't realize this until it was too late for a lot of my friendships that really were horrible, and they were all with fake people who just couldn't choose any single person to be loyal to. They had to be loyal to literally everybody and nobody all at once. And it resulted in me accepting behavior for multiple months on end that I would have just never inflicted on them, and in any other circumstance I would have never been okay with. It's fine to admit that. I should have known. I can forgive them. They're forgiven. I have no grudges. But they're not getting another clean slate from me. I'm not forgetting how they treated me. They have made it a habitual pattern to never exhibit loyalty, always trespass my privacy, and constantly disrespect me, and I don't have to sit for it, and neither do you. What are the mistakes that you're making to allow these kinds of people to treat you the way that they're treating you? I needed an answer to that a lot longer than I gave one to myself. You don't have to make the same mistake that I did. I hope this video has verbalized and labeled some of the things that you've been experiencing. One of my favorite comments to get is like, oh my gosh, like you put into words something that I've been going through for years. And that's so refreshing to me. That's why I'm here. I'm here to have these deeper conversations that other college-aged women just won't talk about. And I think this video had a really perfect mix of both, so I really hope it helped you. I genuinely feel like all of the struggles I've gone through in my life led up to this in a way where I'm able to share the things that I've gone through so that you, again, don't have to go through it the hard way. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please comment them. I read every single comment and I try to reply to all of them. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe and like. It goes a long way for me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!